I almost married a woman with the Jezebel spirit, just days away from proposing to her, and I'm so glad God stepped in because if I moved forward, it would have destroyed my life. And I'm here to tell you this, men, that if you're dealing with the Jezebel spirit, you have to be careful. And so you might not know what the Jezebel spirit is. This comes from the story of Ahab and Jezebel in the Bible, where Ahab was a passive man, and Jezebel was a woman with a spirit of destruction, causing chaos, violence, all of this around her. And it doesn't have to always come to that, because in modern day, the Jezebel spirit might actually look like everything you prayed for. Proverbs 5:3 is a verse that really stands out and speaks to me, because it talks about how a strange woman, her lips can be like honey. That woman can dress the way you like. That woman can tell you everything you want to hear about yourself and really build up our ego to then later destroy us and use it against us. Now, this is not a video that's trying to bash women, because not all women have this spirit. There are plenty of godly women out there who are praying for men like you to step up. And not only that, but the Jezebel spirit can also be within a man as well, for you ladies on the channel. But I'm here to tell you that yes, in modern dating, you are going to see this a lot. Because when you're a child of God, don't be surprised when the enemy is trying to throw you off course and to confuse you, distract you, and discourage you. Because you, being a child of God, have a purpose that has been divinely orchestrated by our Father in heaven. Jeremiah 29:11, he knows the plans he has for us. So you have to be very mindful and really tap into discernment, because the devil uses the Jezebel spirit to send you a counterfeit. In modern day, you can think of the Jezebel spirit as the narcissistic spirit. And I know that word gets thrown around so many times, but people often don't really understand what it means to have that spirit. Just because you don't agree with someone, it doesn't mean that makes them a narcissist. But clinically, if you were to pop open a manual, like a DSM manual in psychology, the narcissist has some core wounds in their life. And so when they go and they date someone like you, there's usually a 3-step phase that comes with it. Number one, and I experienced this in 2018, the love bombing phase. They're going to gas up your ego. They're going to act like everything is perfect. You're the perfect man. You're the perfect woman. They've never met someone like you. Over the top flattery. Remember, Proverbs 5:3, the lips can be like honey. Now, when somebody is telling you things you like to hear, that doesn't automatically make them a narcissist, but you get the drift. If it's got you scratching your head wondering, why are they going over the top with this? You're probably listening to God's discernment. So what they'll do is they'll bring up your ego, and they might go along with everything you say, and they seem really into you, until phase 2 comes along, which is going to be that devaluation phase. Now they're nitpicking at every little thing. What used to not bother them, suddenly they're trying to break down your ego. And it can be subtle jabs, and it's so easy to miss this. And if you're someone that's highly empathic like myself, and I believe many believers are, we tend to be the healers and fixers, right? Where suddenly now we find ourselves in this weird relationship dynamic of trying to save them, trying to heal them, but then also turning on blinders to all the red flags that God's telling us, because in our heads we think we can save them from that, we can change them. And that's exactly what this Jezebel or narcissistic spirit is trying to feed off of. In my live video yesterday, I used an analogy of a cup, where when you're filled with Christ, it's like you have this cup full of water, and this narcissist comes your way, and they want to sip. And you start pouring, and you start pouring, and you start pouring, until they've finally broken you down, and now the relationship moves to the final phase, phase 3, which is that narcissistic discard. They might cheat on you, like what happened to me. They might just suddenly leave you, suddenly ghost you. So besides flattery, to protect yourselves, there are other things you can look at with this spirit. And before I say that real quick, I did do my live video yesterday. Thank you so much for joining. You guys are awesome. I'm a little tired today. I had a hard time staying asleep. I kept waking up thinking about how well the conversations went, and God bless you all. You can check the replay on the channel if you missed it. I'll be doing more lives. It's not going to be like a once a week thing. I don't want to burn out, but there will be more lives for sure. And it just went super well. But going back to some of the points about what to look for with this Jezebel or narcissistic spirit, another flag is she is a modern woman who doesn't need a man, and she has a rebellious spirit. And again, this is not a channel to bash women. Not all women are like this. I'm only focusing on that spirit that you have to watch out for. And for you ladies on the channel, men can have this too, right? Where this woman, maybe she had a broken relationship with her dad growing up. That's how it often starts. Where to no fault of her own, she had to learn at a young age to survive. I don't need a man in my life because my father's not around. And so I have to do everything on my own. And so what happens is in adulthood, this woman, especially being egged on by all her girlfriends now in this day and age, because a lot of these women now, they pride and they celebrate being this boss babe. What's going to happen is she's not going to trust your leadership in Christ. Because when you are trying to set boundaries, be a godly man, try and lead, she's already going to be on the defensive because her experiences have a negative meaning for that. So if she's not submitted to the Lord and she doesn't have trust in men, then if you were to envision marrying this woman, how is she going to submit to your leadership? It's not going to happen. So don't think of this as she is a challenge and I need to win her over. Us men, we're so guilty of this because we're problem solvers. I used to do this in dating too, where I used to think I was not attracted to a woman when she wasn't showing flags, because I was so used to a chaotic upbringing where my comfort zone and familiarity that you get attracted to is you want to date projects. So if she seems like this woman where you feel like you have to outwill her and convince her to basically follow your lead, it's not worth it. It's going to drain your energy. And the spirit of Satan, he is an energy vampire. He did this with Jesus in the wilderness. After Jesus corrected him on each of the verses that he tried to tempt our Father with, he kept firing off more, firing off more. Finally, he fled, right? So this spirit of rebellion, that's another thing to look for with a Jezebel. To be very careful to tap into God's discernment. And that's why it's so important to keep praying regularly. Keep seeking God's wisdom. Because this spirit may not reveal its true head in the very beginning. I didn't see it right away. And I wasn't submitted to the Lord. And I was relying on my own understanding. And Proverbs tells us this, right? To not lean on your own understanding. And Jeremiah also tells us that the heart can be deceitful. That's why it's so important that when someone shows up and looks like everything you prayed for and tells you everything you want to hear and even tells you they're a Christian, that should not automatically mean that that's God's will for you. You need to ask your Father. Because this Jezebel spirit, another thing to watch out for, that's a major flag, it's a counterfeit. You might meet this Jezebel spirit in the church. One of you in the live discussion last night even told me this, that you married someone that you had met in the church and she ended up cheating. And it's so sad to hear this because of all places, we would not expect that we're going to be betrayed in what should be God's house. But remember also with Judas, this is sometimes what God allows as part of his plan to tell us, hey, I am here for you. Even when people disappoint you and they cheat on you and they betray you, I am a loyal, just God. And so if you are struggling going through that right now, I mean, there are a couple ways I can help with this. You can book a 20-minute call with me in the description below for $10. And then we can kind of talk about where you're at. And if you need future calls, we can figure out a plan for you. I have the breakup guide in the description. And guys, if you guys are really valuing this content and you want to help this channel grow and reach out to more and more people that need to hear about Jesus and how to change their relationships, there are ways to support this in the description. You can like, subscribe, share. And you tell me in the comments too, what are some other signs of the Jezebel spirit you've experienced that I might have missed? And God bless.